blah, blah, blah. Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Allie Z, and welcome to my Flosstube. Welcome back to my Flosstube. I'm actually really nervous about filming because I have not filmed in a very long time. Oh, there's schmutz on my sleeve, even though my shirt's supposedly clean. Whoopsies. Whew, okay. I'm very nervous about filming, even though I'm normally not, but I haven't filmed in a very long time, and I'm very happy to be back. The problem is, as I've mentioned before, once you haven't filmed in a while, then you have all this stuff to talk about, and then you're like, what do I film? What do I say? And it all starts piling up, and then you're just overwhelmed, and then you don't film for another several months. But here I am, I'm back. I know you're all so happy to see me. How amazing is my hair? Woo! It was like, so I got it shaved down super short, and it was like rainbow tie-dye extravaganza, and it was totally rainbow, but now it's starting to grow in, so you can see my roots, but I love it. And it matches my glasses. It's so cute. This is also the first time I've like shaved my head this short, which has been a thing I've always wanted to do. Anyway, back to the stitching. Hi, everyone. I've had a very eventful 6 months, I think. Let's see what has happened in my life. Well, I went on a Panama Canal cruise, which was amazing. Disney cruise. 10 out of 10, highly recommend. Go, do it. If you can do it, do it. Disney cruises are so much fun. Let's see, what else did I do? I went to StitchCon, which was super fun. I had a really good time. This year had a much more chill vibe than last year, which was my first year. And I actually kind of appreciated that. Like, there were less people, and it seemed slightly less intense, which, again, I mean, it's a lot of people. StitchCon is between... So I think we figured out that there were about 270 people registered for Weekend A this year. And last year, I think there were over 320. So, 250 plus people in a room stitching. Like, it's really fun, but it can definitely be a lot. But it was awesome. I had a great time. I sat with a bunch of really cool people. So I sat with Stephanie from Cross Stitch the Globe, who is one of my stitchy BFFs. I sat with Stitchin Jem, who I met last year but didn't get a chance to really hang out with, but I got to hang out with her this year. I sat with Audrey of Stitch Bead, who is my other new stitchy BFF, mostly because I like saying shit that makes her go, oh my god. She has like it's actually really interesting. I feel like my table this year was like a table of foils. Like, it was a bunch of really wonderful, funny, vibrant people, but all in like very different ways. Like, Audrey and Jem have very like dry senses of humor. And it's not that I'm not dry and sarcastic. I'm just, so much all the time. And so it was a very interesting contrast. But it was so much fun to get to know them. And then I also sat with Connie and Laura. Connie, it was awesome to get to know her as well. Like, she's been in the stitchy community for a long time, although she does not have a Flosstube, sadly. Connie, you should be a guest star on Jem's Flosstube, just saying. And Laura actually lives in Costa Rica, but comes to the US for stitching retreats. And I met her previously too. So that was like a really fun table. It was great to get to know them. And yeah, I had a really good time. I always do. I have a wonderful roommate, Sally. So Sally and I met at my very first retreat, which was the Steel City Stitchers retreat in 2023. And Sally and we had like sort of started making friends on Instagram and like commenting on each other's stuff, but we didn't meet in person until Steel City Stitchers. And she's another like very dear stitchy friend of mine. And it's always just so much fun to see her, and we're great roommates. Like, yeah, I was so happy to see her. And she has a Flosstube as well, Sally Stitches and. She, like me, sort of does occasional updates, but she's a great watch, and she also talks about some of her other crafting as well. So definitely, I will be shouting out lots of Flosstubes today, so be ready. But since I'm coming back to Flosstube, I needed a way to like sort of focus this episode because I knew it was going to be like, there's just so much I could talk about. I mean, I've stitched on so much, I've had a few finishes, like there's just been a lot. So what I decided to do was actually focus on the retreat that I just attended last weekend, which was the Queen City Stitch Retreat. Queen City Stitch Retreat, although the shirt is from 2024, never mind. Queen City Stitch Retreat, which takes place in the Queen City of Charlotte, North Carolina. And this past weekend, so there are 2 Queen City Stitch Retreats every year. There's one in July and one in October. So this year, the summer retreat was a Chatelaine themed weekend. So Chatelaine weekend 2026. Oh, wait, here's my bag. It says it on there, I think. Yes, it does. There we go. Queen City Stitch Retreat, Chatelaine weekend 2026. Yes, I'm going to go through all of my swag and everything, but this is the bag. Very nice bag. Anyway, so this past weekend was Chatelaine weekend 2026. So it was Chatelaine themed. And for those of you who do not know what a Chatelaine is, Chatelaine Designs is a company founded by an amazing designer named Martina from Europe, the Netherlands, I think. But anyway, Martina is an amazing designer from Europe. And what makes Chatelaine Designs stand out is that most of them primarily use cross stitch. So they are cross stitch patterns. However, they also incorporate a huge variety of fibers. So you use cotton, you use metallics, you use silks. Sometimes you use like rayon or silk lame braid. So she uses a huge amount of different kinds of fibers. And she also loves to incorporate specialty stitches. Loves a specialty stitch and tons of beading. So her patterns tend to be like, and the most famous ones certainly are like these big, sparkly, like specialty stitch festooned, very cool patterns. So that is what a chatelaine is. So when you hear people talk about stitching a chatelaine, what they're talking about are these patterns by this specific designer, Martina. Now, Martina is no longer with us, unfortunately, but her daughter, Ella, who is not a stitcher, has kept the company going and has kept the patterns out there and has kept the stitching alive in her mom's memory, which we're all very grateful for because chatelaines are absolutely gorgeous and it's amazing that we all get the chance to stitch them. I today am going to be focusing on the retreat. So I'm going to be focusing on the Chatelaine weekend retreat, but if you're interested, drop a comment below and I will happily do a like Chatelaine 101 all about Chatelaine, showing all of my Chatelaine whips, video, like a little Flosstube extra. And yes, that means I'm committing to another video, but if you drop a comment and you would like a video going more in depth about chatelaines, I would love to do that. I know there are some out there. There are some amazing chatelaine stitchers who have floss tubes. Deb Draeger, who is on the retreat team, she is the traveling stocking stitcher and she stitches chatelaine. She's finished a bunch of like really amazing huge chatelaines and she does a gorgeous job on them. The Sharky Stitcher has a bunch of chatelaines on her channel. I know Fiber Arts Amy has some chatelaine themed videos. So if you're interested, go take a look at those. You can also just search chatelaine. It's spelled like this. If you just search Chatelaine on YouTube, you can find videos that are Chatelaine themed. But anyway, so Chatelaine weekend, part of the Queen City Stitch Retreat. So that retreat is hosted and sort of was founded by and is hosted and run by Amy of Fiber Arts Amy and Maggie of Kitschy Whips, 2 of my other stitchy BFFs. I have a lot of stitchy BFFs. So as per usual, little side detour here. I love stitching. I really do, right? Like, obviously I counted, I'm up to 70 plus whips. I have 70 plus whips. I like collect stitchy stuff, you know, fabric and floss and patterns and all that. And I do love stitching and I mean, you can see I stitch, but I think the thing that I really love the most, well, the thing that I love the most is the Stitchy community. Like, you know, I've met really amazing people from all over that I never would have met otherwise. You know, they're people that I've now been friends with for years that I see at retreats, and that I stay in touch with in between. And for me, like, that's a big reason to go to retreats, right? Is to like meet other Stitchy people and to feel that sense of community. And I think the Queen City retreat especially is a place where that Stitchy community is really emphasized, which is one of the reasons that I love it. Full disclosure. So I am also I'm a minion on the retreat team. So Maggi and Amy run the retreat, and then there's a group of us that help out with certain aspects of the retreat. So like Deb, the traveling stocking stitcher that I mentioned, Deb is like an amazing, she like films everything. She's like an amazing documentarian. And she also helps out with, you know, other logistical stuff. My big job with the retreats is I'm the raffle girly. Because I love talking to everyone. So when we're at the retreats, like I sell the raffle tickets, I like count how much money we're raising, which I love getting to do. I like get to announce the raffles, which like the first time I did this, I was so excited because I was like, oh my God, I get to draw the raffle tickets. Apparently internally I'm 5 and drawing the raffle tickets makes me special, but you know. Anyway, so full disclosure, I am a part of the retreat team. But part of why I'm part of the retreat team is because I really love this retreat. And I love the way that Maggi and Amy have made an effort to really theme the retreat around community and around designers that they love. Chatelaine. Other Queen City themes have been we've done Mirabilia twice. We did Autumn Lane Stitchery, which was amazing, getting to meet Erin and Cassandra. Like, they were really awesome. It's just been, yeah, Queen City is awesome. You should totally come. Our October retreat, which is the middle weekend of October, is Teresa Wensler theme this year. So very exciting. And the other thing I will say is that while the retreats are themed, you don't have to stitch those things to go to the retreat. So for example, I am going to the Teresa Wensler retreat. I like Teresa Wensler. I have a pattern that I'm planning on starting, but like, am I like a huge Teresa Wensler stitcher? No. Will there be people there who are like hugely into Teresa Wensler? Yes. Hopefully the brag table will be festooned with beautiful Teresa Wensler pieces. However, it is also just a regular Stitchy retreat. You can just go and have fun and enjoy stitching on whatever. It's not like they stop you at the door and say, do you have a Teresa Wensler? Are you allowed to come in? No, never, right? It's just meant to be a space where people, if they're interested in that designer, if they're excited about that designer, then you know you have stuff in common. And if not, great. What do you stitch on? We're all stitchers, right? Okay, so anyway, back to this weekend. So Chatelaine weekend, very exciting. So last year was the inaugural Chatelaine weekend, and that was a much smaller retreat. I think there were 50 people at that one. This one was a full-size retreat. I believe Maggi and Amy said we had around like 120 to 130 people, which is close to full-sized. Our full-size retreats are 150. But yeah, so the retreat was Chatelaine themed. So the brag table was all Chatelaines. And the reason that they do that specifically for the Chatelaine retreat is because a lot of Chatelaines are very large. And so in order to have space on the brag table for all of them, they wanted to make sure that there was enough space to put them all up. And when I say large, so there are smaller Chatelaine designs. And they're beautiful. She has some beaded tiles that are gorgeous. This year, the stitch along for the retreat was her summer fruit series, which are small. And when I say small, I mean like literally like the finishes were probably about like this big. And they still have like the specialty stitches, the beads, like all that cool stuff, but it's a little bit more of a manageable size. All of my Chatelaines, of course, are huge because why would I ever pick anything small? Anyway, so the retreat, like I said, is hosted in Charlotte, North Carolina. The vendor there is Oak Crown Studios, which is Fiber Arts Amy's fabric company. So fabric shopping in person, one of my faves. You get an amazing swag bag, so I will show that a little bit later. Meanwhile, I've now been talking for literally 15 minutes and I have not shown a single thing. Well, nope, I showed my bag. But, all right, to the stuff that you really want to see. Oh, but first, the stuff that you really want to see, some stitching. But first, I do have to give a shout out. So one of my dear stitchy friends it's crazy because I only met her a year ago, but we talk like every day. We like text about our stitching. We're like, you know, always chatting. And actually it was so much fun. So my friend Dawn lives in Tennessee and she is a major chatelaine stitcher. She also stitches other things. She's incredibly talented. I'm going to drop her Instagram below. It is Dawn TCB, as in, I don't know, Tommy Billy Carr. And she's an amazing stitcher. She stitches really fast. She has impeccable taste. She's also a huge Swiftie, which is not my thing, but if it's your thing, cool. Anyway, so Dawn and I have become very good friends, and she's one of the people that I sat with at the retreat. And like Dawn has gotten really into, so I know everybody loves stitching those animal crackers by Stacey Nash, and Dawn has gotten really into stitching animal crackers, but she converts them. And one of the things that she brought me at the retreat, and this was a total surprise, and you can see I'm like turning red because it was like the coolest thing ever. And she surprised me and she stitched me an animal cracker, and it's me. So this is a gift from Dawn, who also has an Etsy shop called The Fob Factory. She makes gorgeous bag and scissor fobs. I will show one later, the Chatelaine exclusive one. But look, she made me my own animal cracker of me. I love it so much. She gave it to me the first night and I literally like almost burst into tears. I was crying. Like, it's so cute. So I'm gonna hold it closer to the camera so you can see how amazing this is. So this animal cracker pattern is Pip the Hedgehog, but she converted the whole thing to make it me. She literally, like if you look at my hair, she took the pattern from my hair, from a photo I sent her, and made the hair exactly like my hair, including the little heart. There's a post on Instagram showing like a photo of me that she based this on. It has like the rainbow glasses. She even put on, here, I want to like cover my face. There we go. Okay. She even put on my nose ring, which is so cute. I love the little rainbow overalls, rainbow shoes. Oh my God, she's perfect. She's so perfect. Look at her. I love her. And she put this little pink fabric on the back with a little flower. There's a little pocket in the back. I'm obsessed. I want to sew, so I've gotten like really into sewing too, and I want to sew her like a little pocket pouch that I can just like put a magnet on and put on my shirt, so that way like I can just take her everywhere. Or like one of those little, you know, the sling bags for cell phones, like I could just put her in a little cell phone bag and just make her like a little basket so she can just come everywhere with me. She's so cute. This is like really one of the sweetest gifts that anyone has ever given me. Look at her, she's so cute. Oh, I just love it so much. I have it up, I have these two like things near my TV, and I have it up on top of one next to my TV so I can look at her all the time. So thank you so much, Dawn. This is like really like the most special present ever. Look how cute. Anyway, the other thing is, so Dawn has been trying to convince me to stitch an animal cracker. So now of course I have to stitch one because I already have one of my very own, but now I'm going to have to stitch one. Yeah, it's so cute. I love it so much. It's so cute. Look at it. It's so cute. Ah, okay. Anyway, all right. So that's one of my presents from the retreat. Now on to what did I stitch at the retreat? Okay, so I worked on several different things at the retreat. And actually, to my point earlier, I I actually did not just work on chatelaines, although I did start 2 new chatelaines. So before the retreat, I had 5 chatelaine whips. And now I have 7 chatelaine whips, which again is hilarious because some of these patterns are absolutely massive. So just to give you an idea, so I'm stitching on one that I thought of as not that big. It is actually a more basic chatelaine. So the materials list is not as long. It is mostly kitted up in DMC. It is a mandala. So chatelaine is famous for her giant mandalas. But I thought of it as like not that big. And then I realized I had bought half yard of fabric for it. And I was like, why did I buy a half yard of fabric for this? And then I looked at the dimensions and it's like 250 stitches by 250 stitches. Now, there is a lot of open space in there. Like there's places where there's like specialty stitching that like takes up a lot of room. Like it is not 250 by 250, like solid, like, you know, wall to wall full coverage stitching, but it is physically quite big. So, you know, you got to put that on a half yard of fabric. It doesn't fit on a fat quarter. So that was actually, one of the things that I started. So I'm going to show, let's see, I'll show my starts. Well, let me show one of my chatelaine whips first that I worked on, and then I will show my starts. So my first chatelaine whip, and this was actually my first chatelaine ever. Also forgive if there's like a lot of like me sort of ruffling around to get to stuff. I'm really rusty on the filming, so like it might not be super smooth in terms of, you know, grabbing projects and all that. I have everything sort of like spread out around me in a semicircle, but I like didn't do a great job setting up. Anyway, so this is Small Hammam Oasis, and I will put a picture in here. But this is Small Hammam Oasis. This is not a mandala design, as you can see, but it is symmetrical. And this was my first ever chatelaine that I started. I started this last year before the first chatelaine retreat. So a little bit over a year ago, but yeah, I started this last year and I've made some really nice progress on it. And this actually, I feel like will be a good illustration of like what chatelaine sort of look like and do. So this is where I am at. This fabric is 28 count Winter Moon linen by Zweigart. And I do have it on like a board so I can hold it up more easily. And this is where I'm at, like I said. So let me hold that a little bit closer. Now my ring light is blowing out the color of the fabric a little bit. The color of the fabric is a lot closer to what you see back here. It's sort of like a yellowish, tannish color. I wanted that because I wanted it to have like a desert feel to it because it's called the Small Hammam Oasis. Now, I am going to bring it closer so you can see some of the detail in the stitching because this is Martina and Chatelaine's signature detail. So you can see, sorry, I'm covering my face, but you can see, and the camera's shaking. Wow, I'm really not in practice, guys. All right. But you can see, so all of this is 4 different colors of metallics with I put in the back stitching already. This is a bunch of back stitching over this lantern. You can see here, there's like those half stitches to give that shiny feeling. All these empty spots, by the way, are beads. All these empty spots, there's beads that go in there. So what I've been working on is I started this side. I finished up the back stitching and I like started this archway on this side. And that is looking stunning. I love it. It's beautiful. And actually, Deb, the traveling stocking stitcher who I mentioned earlier, she actually had a finished stitch of this on the brag table on this gorgeous teal fabric that was like, oh, it was stunning. And seeing it finished, oh, it's so inspiring because it's just so beautiful. Yeah, I love it. And it's actually, I mean, it's a joy to stitch on. So for those of you who have not stitched a chatelaine, what happens is you get the pattern and there's this huge materials list. I mean, this is, so just to give you an idea, well, fallen off the design board here. So this is actually a great example too of like all the different materials that Martina uses in chatelaine design. So if you look at this, right, there's 4 different colors of metallic. Those are Petite Treasure braid. Then these blues in here are all NPI silks, which you could convert to DMC if you didn't want to do the silks, but the silks are gorgeous. So these are all silks. You have DMC for the lantern, DMC black, and some other DMC over here. Then if you look closely at this arch, so I'm going to hold this up here. So this arch is 4 different colors. Oh, I have a little water bottle I can lean on. Perfect. Okay. So this arch, just this little archway, is 4 different colors of water lilies and glorianas. Then you have this little square, these little squares back here that are another 2 colors of silks. You have, so this is another water lily. And then in the background here, I know is, I think either a Dinky Dyes or a DMC. I don't remember which. But it's just a good example of like the variety of fibers you get to use, which is really cool. And again, so, you know, you can go through her materials lists and see what can be converted. She does provide DMC conversions for things. So you can convert to DMC. There are a variety of different sort of levels of like complexity of materials. Like I said, one of my starts that I'll show later, like most of the, I think it's like 13 or 14 DMCs and then like a couple of silks, 1 metallic, and that's it. Like it's not a lot of material. So, you know, there is sort of like a range of level of commitment in terms of size and level of commitment in terms of price when you are getting into stitching chatelaines. But the other thing that I wanted to say is that, so as I mentioned, there's a lot of there's some gaps here for beads. And then for example, I know like these gaps over here and like up here is all specialty stitches. And one of the nice things about Martina's patterns is that she writes out instructions at the beginning of every pattern. So, for example, these in here are rice stitches, and in the pattern she has instructions for how to do the rice stitches. She writes, you know, in the right and left side, in the top arch, do your rice stitches with, you know, 1 ply of this color and 2 plies of this color, and and place them like this, and it's all written out plus the stitch instructions. So there are instructions in the pattern. You are also welcome to make your own interpretation. I'm not a huge eyelets fan, so there are a few places that there are eyelets in this design that I might actually replace with Rhodes stitches, which are like the ones that look like stars. But yeah, stunning. It's stunning. It's so gorgeous. I'm really excited to see this coming together. I'm really enjoying stitching on this. It's gorgeous. I'm currently debating whether I want to go down this side and sort of like fill this in and then do this side, which is exactly, they're symmetrical. So it's exactly the same. I'm debating whether I want to stitch it sort of like one side and then the other, or if I want to stitch sort of like stitch this part, stitch this, stitch this, stitch here, stitch here, stitch here. I'm not sure yet. I'm kind of enjoying like seeing what this looks like and getting the reward of that. So I might keep going and then but I'm worried that once I stitch it once, I'm going to be like, oh, I have to stitch it again. But so far I'm not feeling that way. So far I'm really enjoying. So this is my one chatelaine whip that I worked on. Now I'll show my chatelaine starts, which I'm very excited about. So I started 2 new chatelaines at the retreat. One of which is, again, one of the more simple chatelaines, and the other of which is a very complex, very large design. So the first one that I started is called Rainy Day Seasons Autumn. It is beautiful. This is the one where earlier I was saying I couldn't figure out why I bought a half yard, and then I realized that you actually needed a half yard because it was so many stitches. 250 by 250. My start is not nearly that big. So this is Rainy Day Seasons Autumn. Hopefully I've already put up a picture of it so you can be looking at the pretty instead of like just listening to me yap, yap, yap. But this, I saw Maggie, Kitschy Whips, started this, and she has it on Pearl Gray Zweigart. Pearl Gray Zweigart linen. And I just love the way it looks on the gray, and it's called Rainy Day Season, so I decided to copy her. And I am also stitching mine on Pearl Gray Zweigart. Here's my half yard of fabric, ta-da-da-da. And there's my little tiny start in the middle. Okay, I'm gonna put that on a board so I can bring it closer. So, a couple of tips for Chatelaine noobs. When you are stitching the mandalas, you start in the center. You don't have to, but it is best to start in the center. Because A, then you can sort of branch outward, and B, then you know where to start, like sort of gives you, and that way you're not like coming in on the center and realizing, oh shoot, I didn't leave myself enough room. So here is my start on Rainy Day Seasons Autumn. One of the things that I and a lot of Chatelaine stitchers will do is put a little arrow in the middle. I will cut that out later. There's like a bead or a treasure or something that goes in there. Yeah, I will cut that out later. It's just so I know which way is up. It doesn't really matter because, again, it's a mandala. It's going to be symmetrical, but if you want to keep all your stitches facing the same way, it's good to know which way is up. Helps me keep my orientation here. So this is my little start. And I am stitching this with all of the called for threads, beads, all of that. I have the pack for it. Just looking down to see if I have the project, but I don't know where oh, there it is. Okay. Yeah, so I am stitching this with all of the called for on this Pearl Gray. So I will also say a lot of Chatelaine stitchers, so I tend to choose more exciting fabrics, and although funnily enough, the Chatelaines I'm showing today are all on pretty plain fabrics, but Martina herself preferred Chatelaines on plainer fabric so that the stitching could shine. I think there's an argument to be made for putting it on a plain fabric, and there are certain Chatelaines that really work. I have a couple of Chatelaine whips that are on much more interesting fabric. I will show those in my big Chatelaine video of some time. And again, I think there's an argument to be made for both. I do think there's a lot going on in these patterns. So you don't want anything that's like too crazy modeled, but I've seen people do them on like ombre fabrics. I've seen people do them on some really bright, I have some really bright fabrics kitted with Chatelaines, and they are stunning. So here is my, like I said, here's my start. I'm excited to get going on this. This is, again, a kit that is, a lot less expensive, honestly, and a lot less extensive than a lot of other Chatelaine kits. And I'll show my next start is like the polar opposite of this. It's a huge kit with a huge piece of fabric and a lot of different fibers and stuff. But yeah, there we go. Rainy Day Seasons Autumn. Excited to get working on this. Also, I will say my ring light like blows out the colors a little bit. This is like a pretty, it's a light to medium gray. It's showing up a little bit lighter with the ring light, but this is like pretty, again, I'm sort of leaning back to try and get out of the light. This is like pretty close to true to color. Yeah, so then this is a big start. So last year at Chatelaine Weekend, Kay Warren, who's an amazing Chatelaine stitcher, she finished the Rainforest mandala, which I will pop a picture in here. The picture is probably of Kay's finish because it's stunning. So she finished the Rainforest mandala, and when I showed my fiance the photos of all of the things I had taken photos of off of the brag table, he said this Rainforest mandala was his favorite. And I'm leaning this way to make sure I have like space for the photo. I actually really love the Rainforest mandala too. I love all the animals. So I'll post pictures too of some close-ups of like some of the animals in the corners. It is a lot of green. Green is not my favorite color, but it's a bunch of different variety of colors of green. Oh, and to show you what a chatelaine kit looks like. So European Cross Stitch is a website where you can actually buy the kits for chatelaines. And she sends them to you on a little ring. I'll show you because I bought this from European Cross Stitch. Here it is. You get sent all of the specialty flosses on a little ring. You can choose whether to include the Gloriana or not. Know that the wait time gets extended if you include the Gloriana because they can be hard to get. But here is my specialty floss ring. So this is just the specialty flosses for Rainforest Mandala. So this has, each of these bags has 3 or 4 metallics in that. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 8 different metallics. We have dinky dyes here. We have, oh, this is a Karen wildflower, I think. So it's like a different fiber. We have this is also a wildflower. We have Karen water lilies in here. We have, it looks like one of these is Silk Lame. Yeah, this is Silk Lame. There are NPIs. And then actually, oh, I just realized this does not even include the Glorianas. So this is Rainforest Mandala minus the Glorianas. And the DMC list, which is like 50 DMCs. So as you can see, a lot of fibers. Here's the bead pack, also purchased from European Cross Stitch. So all chatelaines are kitted with Delica and Swarovski crystal, Delica beads and Swarovski crystals. So honestly, the easiest thing to do is just get the bead pack from European Cross Stitch. If you want to source the beads yourself or get them out of your stash, you can. It's just easier to just get them from European Cross Stitch. She labels. So I'm gonna actually, sorry for the crinkles, I'm gonna pull out one of the little things of beads. She labels what you're getting. So here's one. Here you can see it says, cover my face over here. So it actually says on it, Delica, number, blah, 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 with the amount, and it's a little tube. There we go. It's a little tube with all the beads in it. And that's what this little baggie is. And then there's also treasure. So here's like sorry for the crinkles. I thought I was being so good. Okay. So here's a little baggie with some of the treasures. Hold on. There we go. Here, I'm going to cover my face. So you can see there's like all these beautiful sparkly treasures. Really exciting. It's going to be gorgeous. And so I really wanted a very specific fabric for this. I really wanted like a pale buttery yellow. And I was at StitchCon, and actually Dawn, my friend Dawn, she spotted a fabric at StitchCon and said, oh my God, Allie, it's the perfect fabric for your Rainforest Mandala. And I said, really? And lo and behold, there it was. Buttercream, a new fabric color by Millennial Fabrics. Now, I have never purchased Millennial Fabrics before now, but it was the perfect color, and I'd heard nothing but good things about their fabric. And Sarah, who owns Millennial Fabrics, is like so lovely. I met her at StitchCon last year. I met her this year. She's like really awesome. And the thing is, Rainforest Mandala is 300 and something by 300 something stitches. I don't remember the exact numbers, but I did the math, and it was going to be 23 inches by 23 inches on 32 count. And I was like, oh shoot, okay. I could make do with a half yard, but I really am going to need a full yard for this. So I approached Sarah at StitchCon and said, hey, I really love this color buttercream, but like I need a full yard for my chatelaine. Like, would you be able to dye me a full yard? And this was, remember, this was the first weekend of June, I think, second weekend in June. So this is like June 11th. And I was like, and I know you have your own retreat coming up, but is there any way you could possibly dye me a full yard and ship it to me by July 20th so I can start my chatelaine at the Chatelaine retreat? And I braced myself, but she very generously said, yes, of course we can do that. We're going to be dyeing for our own retreat anyway. Like, it's on the list. Like, we'll just dye you a full yard. And I said, oh my God, thank you so much. You're the best. And lo and behold, Sarah very generously, like, dyed me the full yard, shipped it express for me so that it would get there in time. I did get it in time, and I started stitching on it. So first of all, here's the fabric. See? Perfect, beautiful buttercream yellow. This fabric is so nice. So I cannot say enough good things about this fabric. It's like beautifully soft. Sorry, I chopped off one of the edges and I like raggedy ass whip stitched it at the retreat. But Sarah did a beautiful job overlocking her edges. Yeah. This fabric is so perfect for this pattern. It's like really beautiful. It's like the perfect shade of yellow. It's a pleasure to stitch on. I'm like so excited about it. It's gorgeous. This is actually might be like the first full yard that I've ever like picked out and purchased. And I love it. It's perfect. And the other thing about millennial fabrics that I noticed that I think is really great is that their dyes are very consistent. So with hand dyes, sometimes like, and I think this is inevitable with highly modeled fabrics, with fabrics that are multiple colors, like each piece looks really different, right? Because the modeling turns out different, like the colors mix in different ways. So, and on different, fabric types, like you can get pieces that look wildly different. I've noticed that again with dyers that use a lot of different a lot of different colors in the same piece of fabric, in the same like dye color, you get like a lot of variation. So like dyers like Fiberlicious Yummy Fibers, Bestitch Me, Under the Sea, like different batches can look really different. If a fabric is like green and pink, for example, right? Like some batches are more green, some batches are more pink, some pieces are more pink or more green, or, the modeling is heavier or lighter. This fabric is like the most beautiful, soft yellow. And here is my start on the Rainforest Mandala. I started in the middle. I got to start with a beautiful silk, and then this is a Petite Treasure braid. Also, I'm really glad I realized my Glorianas were not in that pack because I definitely did not pay close attention, and I'm pretty sure I didn't even bring my Glorianas with me. So I'm glad that this center part was not Gloriana because I would have been real sad. So this is my little start on Rainforest Mandala with this beautiful yellow fabric. And let me see, hold on. Where did I put, everything is everywhere. I don't even know where I put, oh, here it is. So just to give you an idea, I don't know if you can see the difference on camera, but this is my fabric for Small Hammam, and this is like a more tan. This is not really yellow. It's like a light tan. And this is like a true light yellow. So hopefully holding those up next to each other can sort of help with the fabric color. But it's gorgeous. It's very blown out. If I hold it up here, it gets very blown out because of the ring light. But you can really see the stitching. So yeah. Oh, and this little frog needle miter is so cute. This was a gift from Dawn and Paige, who were my table mates at the Chatelaine weekend, and it's so cute, and I love it, and there are frogs on the Rainforest Mandala, so the frog gets to stay. Those boots! Look at those boots! So cute! Okay. So that is my start on Rainforest Mandala. I'm very excited about this. This is going to be a long-term project because it is very stitch heavy. There are 4 different parrots, and each parrot is different. There are 4 different animals in the corners, and each animal is different. There are 4 frogs, and each frog is different. There are also like these giant monstera leaves. Here is my huge piece of fabric that I can't even fit in frame. I ended up cutting down the full yard to, I think it's like 35 by 35. Is the piece that I left myself with because I didn't want like all the extra like hanging off the end over here. So I still have, this is the thing. So a full yard of stitching fabric is 36 by 54 or something. So I still have a bunch of beautiful yellow fabric I can use for something else, probably a fancy lady. Yeah, here is my start on Rainforest Mandala, my blanket. I could literally use it as a blanket. It's huge, but it's beautiful. She's gonna be a beaut. And again, these are all gonna be long-term whips. Like none of this is getting done anytime soon, but it's a joy to stitch on. Listen, can't stitch on it if you don't start it. So those are my chatelaine starts. Then I worked on just a few other whips at the retreat. So I had one other start, and my other start was Goddess Garden by Nora Corbett. Now, I never thought I would stitch this. Here's a picture. Is that in focus? I can't tell. Oh, hold on. I'm going to cover my face and put the picture in. Oh, wait. There we go. Okay, so that's Goddess Garden. I never thought I would stitch this, and then I saw it stitched on dark fabric and was like, oh my god, that is stunning on the dark fabric. So I decided to stitch it. And so I am, in fact, stitching it on very dark fabric. So I got a very small start on this, like less than 150 stitches, but I wanted to get some stitches into it. This fabric is Slate by Fabrics by Stephanie in a 32 count linen, I think. And here is my little start. Yeah, there's my little start. So I started at this top part here. Now, I'm not sure. So there's the image again. Here. There's the image again. And I'm not sure if I want to keep those square edges or if I want to round them off and sort of make it like an arched top. So that's why I started in the middle, because I want to stitch down and sort of see if I want to keep these like squared off edges, or if I want to round the corners a little bit so that it's like an arched window shape more. We'll see. But anyway, it's a start. This will obviously be something I need to work on when I have very good light. There's also a ton of beads in this, which I'm looking forward to. Like all of these little droplets are all beads. There's like beading in the water. There's a lot of all of these like little hanging vine things. That has a lot of beading in it as well. I'm like really looking forward to beading this. I think it'll be gorgeous. But yeah, there's my little start. Once again, can't stitch on it if you don't start it. So here's my start. I did work on one other Mira that I've actually made a lot of progress on. She's looking amazing. Okay, so the other Mira that I worked on is my November Topaz Fairy, and here's a photo. Oh, I say here's a photo. I will insert a photo. I'll also hold up the postcard photo. This is one, so I often think, once again, we've talked about this many times, I often think Miras, the photos really don't do them justice. This is one in particular, I think the photo really does it dirty, because having seen it like getting stitched on and now stitching on it myself, it's like so much prettier than the photo. The photo has like a weird like greenish tint to it, I feel like, or like a yellow tint. I don't know. It's just, it's weird. Okay. So here's the photo. Let me show you the photo here. So covering my eyes so the camera doesn't think I'm a person. So here's the photo of November Topaz Fairy. And, you know, the flowers are really pretty. The yellow dress, I was like, oh, I'm definitely changing her hair. I hate her hair. I think her hair is like a very weird yellow color. But, so here's the photo. That's what she looks like. And here is where I am at. She's looking so pretty. Okay, there we go. I'm like trying to hide so that, like, again, the camera focuses on the stitching. All right. Now I'm going to pull her back so you can see the fabric a little bit better. So this fabric is a one-of-a-kind opalescent Lugana by Hand Dyed by Rolanda. I will put a link below. She dyes the most amazing one-of-a-kind hand dyes, like stunning. If you see one you like, jump on it and buy it. I have way too many. But here they are. Here it is. I think this is looking gorgeous on this fabric. I was a little worried that the yellow dress was going to disappear, but there's a lot of the like gray purpley shading on the outsides, and there's back stitching as well. So I think it's looking great. I think she's going to pop. I love this fabric. Yeah, stunning. So as you can see, I mean, you probably don't even remember my whip parade, but in my whip parade, I had like a tiny little bit done. I have 2 flowers done now. I have a lot of the dress done. So I'm starting on her like neck, and her face is going to go in here. You know, I still have dress to fill in here and here, but I'm getting there. And then I have her legs, the rest of the flowers, the wing. There's still a lot to do, but I've made really good progress on her. Love working on this fabric. Rolanda's fabrics are all like really lovely and soft, even though they have the opal in them. Like, it's not hard to see. Yeah, she's looking gorge, stunning. Love it. All right, and then last but not least, the last thing I worked on is another favorite project of mine, and this is my Halloween at Hawk Run Hollow. I'm making great progress on this. So this is where I am at. So, excitingly, I have now filled in almost all of the water. So I've done half crosses on the whole bottom section. Now I'm just going back and finishing the crossing of the half crosses on this block. And then I will be done with this 4th block. And when I don't feel like doing fill-in, I have also started the 5th block, or I've started my 6th block to do. It's actually the 8th block on the piece. I think I decided I'm going to save this middle block for last and stitch the middle last. And that's going to be my coup de grace. I don't know what the right term for it would be, but that will be my big finale, will be that center block. But I'm getting there. I'm filling when I need something just to stitch on that's easy. I'm filling in down here. And again, I mean, this is like, nothing about this is really hard to stitch on. It's just like easy and fun. So yeah, this block is coming out good too. My crows and my scarecrow is going to start coming in. I love stitching on this. It's a travel piece. It's like a little stinky. It kind of smells like when you leave your t-shirts out for too long. But again, this is all DMC. It's going to go in the wash when I'm finished with it. This is on 32 count Legacy by Picture This Plus, which is the called for color, but it's on 32 count even weave, Lugana, I believe. And this is looking great. Again, the light blows out the fabric a little bit, but the modeling has sort of like a greenish tinge to it that really works for this piece. I am loving it. I also really enjoy showing this off because, and this is something that someone commented on that I did notice. So I feel like the stock photo of this, and I'll put it back up here, but I feel like the photo of this is very yellow, and it doesn't really do justice to the color palette. So if you look at the photo, like, it doesn't actually look like there's really any green in this. And there's very clearly green. I mean, that's green. Like, these blues are like quite blue. I mean, you know, the colors are autumnal, but they're true color. Like, they're true to the colors. And in the picture, like, you really don't get that. And I think seeing the actual color palette of this is really nice, and it helps sort of show like how gorgeous it is stitched. I know at least one stitcher, Sadie, was at the retreat. I will put her Flosstube down below, but like, we were chatting and she was like, oh, I've always thought about stitching this, but I don't know. And I was like, no, you have to start it. Like, it's so fun, and like, look how beautiful it is, and look how beautiful the colors are. And she was saying, like, she was sort of off-put by the color palette, but seeing the actual color palette in person, she was like, yeah, maybe I gotta start that. And I was like, yes, you have to start it. Correct. But yeah, so this is my Halloween at Hawk Run Hollow. That is the last thing that I stitched on. At the retreat, I just worked on some fill-in over here for when my brain needed a break. So that is all of my stitching. Now I do have, normally I don't really do haul or stuff like that, but I did want to do, like, since it's a retreat recap, I did want to do a little bit sort of extra stuff from the retreat. I will say, so it's funny, I actually feel like I got a good amount of stitching done at this retreat. It will come as no surprise to you to know that I am a yapper, and I love to talk, and I love to socialize. And when I get excited, I can't just sit and stitch. Oh, no, 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 no. Also, apparently I yap and then I cough and then I die. Okay. But anyway, I can't just like sit and stitch. So it always takes me a while after I get to a retreat. Like, I gotta be excited. I gotta run around saying hi to everyone. I gotta like see what everyone's working on. I gotta set up my spot. So it always takes me a while to get started. But I stitched on a bunch, so I keep cutting myself off. So you can't necessarily see like a huge chunk of progress because I didn't focus on one thing, but I got a good amount of stitches into each project. I mean, when I showed that little bit of Goddess Garden, like that's like 130 something, 140 stitches. And I definitely did at least that much across 1, 2, 3, 4, like 5 or 6 projects. So, you know, if you think about that, and yes, it is 3 days, but I was selling raffle tickets, I was socializing, blah, blah, blah. So I did get some decent stitching in this retreat, especially for me. I tend to stitch on the lower end in terms of number of stitches when I'm at a retreat because I'm too busy like talking and shopping and doing all of the things. So I did want to show off some of the fun stuff from the retreat. So, this is kind of fun. So, me, Dawn, and Paige, and myself, we really love Clay by Kim. And actually, my love for Clay by Kim was ignited last year. Maggie and Amy like really went all out, and because it was such a small retreat, and one of the things that they did was they actually bought, and they did this like through her retail site. So they bought them retail. They actually bought Clay by Kim dragons and put one in each retreat bag, which was insane. This was, I'll show you the one I got last year, but that sort of kicked off my obsession with Clay by Kim. And this year, I thought it would be kind of fun if people brought their dragons to show off. Because, like, before I had gone to these retreats, I had never even seen one. So I actually brought all of mine, and I had them on a board next to my seat. And so here are, I'm just going to show them because why not? Here are all of my Clay by Kim dragons. They are so stunning. This is the one that I got last year at the retreat, this, like, orange one. And then it kicked off the obsession. Like I said, these are all my Clay by Kims. I wrote this on my board so people would know. I did actually end up trading. I traded with Deb for this one, which matches my moth. And I actually ended up trading for this one as well. I did an extra purple, and I traded for this purple and yellow. So I love them. They're gorgeous. So that was like a fun thing that we did at that retreat. Ooh, and I'll show you our swag bag. So here's the swag bag from the retreat. It's a really nice, like, large tote. And inside the swag bag, we got, I haven't even mentioned, so Katie Tanaik, who is the genius behind Sasna Designs, she has designed the retreat exclusive patterns each year. And I'm trying to think, oh yes, okay, good. I do have a photo of the pattern. So it is a computer mock-up, but they did have actual stitched models. So this is a mock-up of the retreat pattern that Katie of Sasna Design designed for the retreat. And we did get, so in our bags, we got the bead pack and the specialty metallic flosses for the pattern. And Katie has done so many amazing conversions and modifications. She adds embroidery stitches to things, but she also has really beautiful designs of her own under Sasna Design. So she designed the chart for last year's Chatelaine retreat, which I will put a photo of here. And then she also designed this chart for this retreat. So we received, like I said, the chart, and then we also got the specialty metallics and the bead pack for that chart as part of our kit. You provide your own DMC. Then we also got a cute little notions bag that also is Chatelaine weekend themed. And it's like a pretty big, hefty bag. I hold things next to my head, both because then you can see my face and the item, and also because then you can sort of see the size. And in the notions bag, we got a tacky bill with a Queen City sticker on it. We got some Nymo beading thread because A lot of chatelaines have beads in them. We got a Chatelaine weekend needle minder. Really pretty, nice heavy metal needle minder. And then we also got these gorge scissors. So pretty. So that was our retreat. Oh, and we got a tumbler, which I don't have in my bag because I was using it. Oopsies, yes, but we also got a tumbler. So lots of really amazing gifts from the retreat. And then there were two retreat, well, there was the retreat special color of fabric, which I purchased. And then there was also mushroom stew, which was the called for fabric for this pattern, which I also had a piece of. I already had a piece of that. And in addition to all that stuff, so like I said, I mentioned my friend Dawn earlier, and she has an Etsy shop called The Fob Factory, and she makes the most gorgeous bag charms and scissor fob charms. They're so, so pretty. And she actually did a retreat exclusive, Chatelaine exclusive bag charm and scissor charm for the retreat. So let me hold that up for you. So this is the retreat exclusive charm. And hold on, I'm going to block my face again. And here's the charm. It's gorgeous. So it's sparkly. It says Chatelaine. It has like a little crown and the leaves, and it's so pretty. Oh, and it says 2026 on the bottom, so you know what year it's from. And then it has this big clip on the top, so you can clip it onto your bags. I have it on my project bag for my small hammam oasis. I will say, so I really love this project bag. Is from the sewing shop by Kaylee 10 Stitch. thesewingshop.ca. I will put a link down below. I love these bags for chatelaines because they expand a little bit and they're massive, so I can fit like the huge piece of fabric, all the stuff, I can fit all that in these bags. So that's why I use the Kaylee 10 Stitch sewing shop project bags for my chatelaines. So that's gorge. And then Dawn and Paige made the most beautiful table gifts. So they made us project bags with, of course, a little charm. We got some cute needle minders. I showed you the frog already. Also in the bag. So this bag is by Pouches by Paige. I will also put a link in the description to her shop as well. She makes really beautiful like project bags and other types of bags. She also put in a beautiful thread bed with a really pretty needle minder, a tulip needle minder that matches. I love this. This is fabric that like I would never purchase for myself. I don't know why, because it's gorgeous, but like it's beautiful. I think I'm going to end up putting my goddess garden in here probably because like, oh, it's just so pretty. I love it. It's beautiful. Yeah. So these bags are beautiful and like so well made. And Paige is actually fairly new to sewing. Like I thought she'd been sewing for years and years and years. And it turns out like she's only like a few years in and her bags are gorgeous. So like I said, I'll put a link down below to her shop. But thank you so much, Paige and Dawn, for your wonderful table gifts. I had a great table. So it was really fun. So I sat with Paige and Dawn, and then I also sat with my friends Courtney and Anita, who are, Courtney is the daughter and Anita is the mom, and Bear is the adorable little baby. So I actually sat with all of them, and Bear, the baby, was there at the retreat hanging out, which was really fun. He's at that perfect age where he's like mobile and cute and he smiles at you and makes sounds, but he's not like, you know, running all over the place. I suspect it was probably less fun for them to have to be watching him than it was for us to like have him there, but I was really glad that he was there. It was really fun for us. Oh, and another really cool thing about the Queen City retreat is that we have several fun extras, well, this is an included extra, and one of the included extras is a photo booth, which is awesome. So we've had it every year, and it's so great because it's hard to remember to like get a photo of your table and whatever. But when you can go in the photo booth and get photo strips for free, it's really fun. So here is a photo of my table. Here, I'll cover my face again. Here's photos of my table being all silly. You can see bears in the photo. I'm in the background being silly. They came out so cute. I love it. So funny. So those are some fun photos of my table. And then I also took some really fun photos with some other friends of mine. I have some dear Stitchy friends, also a mother-daughter pair, actually. Oh, before I move on, Courtney and Anita actually also, so I've been telling Dawn and Paige to start a Flosstube. They have not, but Courtney and Anita have. And their Flosstube is called The Stitching Grounds. I will put a link below as well. You should totally go watch their Flosstube. They're really fun, and they stitch a bunch of different stuff, just like I do. Yeah, watch their watch all the Flosstubes. Why not? But yeah, it was so much. I mean, it was a great table. Like, they're a really great crew of people. They are all people that I knew from previous retreats, but I just met them all a year ago at StitchCon last year. So, you know, and they've become some of my like dear friends. Again, like, you know, these are some of them I like text with every day. Like, we chat about our stitching all the time. It's really fun. I also saw some really lovely friends of mine. Again, met them at StitchCon last year. Not even this year, last year. My friend Jessie and Hannah. So Jessie and Hannah are also another mother-daughter pair. Here's our photo from the photo booth. Being cute, being cute. Okay, let's see. Hopefully that's focusing. Love that. Yeah, it was so fun. And then, of course, we had to take a photo as a retreat team. So there's the retreat team. All of us being silly. Well, mostly me being silly, but, you know. So cute. And again, like, the photo booth is just so fun. You can get physical copies. You can get them, like, emailed to you or texted to you. It's great. And it's free, which is awesome. Yeah, the other fun thing at this retreat is that Maggie is brilliant and has 2 massage therapists there, and they do chair massages, and they're $20 for 15 minutes, and it's amazing. And especially when you're like sitting hunched over your stitching, like, it's so nice to be at the retreat and like get a little massage. Ooh, it's awesome. So much fun. Okay, I'm trying to think. So that's sort of like the big retreat recap. Ooh, should I do haul? Yes, I'm gonna do haul. Well, I'll do some haul. Well, I'm already at like an hour. Okay, I will do a little bit of haul. I'll do a little bit of haul. I do not normally do haul, but Amy just makes beautiful fabrics and I want to show them off, so I'll do some haul. Just a little, just a couple little boop boops. So the retreat fabric, which debuted, I believe it debuted at the retreat. I'm going to be leaning over to get the fabric out of the bag. Hold on. So the fabric that I got at the retreat, that was the retreat fabric. Let's see. Do I have it in here? I don't even have it in here. Well, it's called On a Cloud, and it's this gorgeous, like, very pale seafoam green. Oh, I found it. Okay. Sorry, I already put it. So this is this was the retreat goodie bag from last year, and I have my Swan Lake, another Chatelaine kit in here, and I think I'm gonna put Swan Lake on a cloud. So I put it. Swan Lake is another one that requires a full yard. Alrighty, so here is On a Cloud. This is actually, I feel like that's actually like a pretty good. It's like a pale sort of seafoam minty, but it's not really mint. It's more like seafoam, but it's like sort of right in between, very pale aqua, gorgeous color. This is the Lugana. Yeah, it's 28 Lugana. I picked 28 because Swan Lake has some real over one and some real heavy beading. So, and here it is. Gorgeous. Love it. I'm very bad at pre-ordering things because I don't pay attention to my email, and I did not pre-order, but she did have plenty of fabric at the retreat, and so I bought a piece at the retreat. stunning. And I do believe this color is now available on her website. If not now, it will be soon. This is a great color for Chatelaine because it like adds a little something, but doesn't, I don't think it will take away from the stitching. Yeah, I love it. As soon as I saw it, I was like, ooh, Swan Lake would be beautiful on that. So off it goes. I would love to stitch Swan Lake on a darker color because I think Swan Lake would be gorgeous on a dark color, but I'm not doing all that over with those little ballerina. There's the swans, but B, there's like these little ballerinas that are over one. There's like all this beading. I'm not doing that on a dark color. Hell no. So I don't want to, it would be beautiful. And I'm not doing that to myself. No. So then a couple of other colors that I got, just a few little fun ones. It was really nice actually. So Amy dyed a lot of opal because she said she noticed that last year people wanted opalescent. So, and it's so fun. I like stitching on opalescent and I don't actually find it harder than stitching on regular fabric. So I bought several pieces of opalescent, including, so this color Antoinette is a color that was dyed for the Queen City retreat, the mirror retreat last year. This is like a beautiful aqua, perfect aqua. This will be a great, I don't know what mermaid I'm going to put on this, but this will be a great mermaid fabric. I don't know if you can see it. And again, like the light is blowing out the color a little bit. Let me see if I can sort of, yeah, I mean, I think like this corner back here is sort of like the most accurate color you're seeing, but I'll try and put like a good photo of it. But here, if I like make a little bit, yeah, there we go. If I like make a shadow, that is like a more accurate color. But even then it's pulling bluer. It's a more tealy greeny color in person. But it's it's beautiful. I don't know if you can see that it's opalescent, but it is a sparkly. So a Mirror Mermaid's gonna go on that. I don't know which one yet. Maybe Queen Mermaid? No, not Queen Mermaid. The one that I always think is Queen Mermaid. Enchanted Mermaid. I always think she's Queen Mermaid and she's not because she's sitting like the other queens are. That's Enchanted Mermaid. Queen Mermaid is the other one. Anyway. Let's see. What else did I get that's good? Ooh, okay. This color. I don't even know what to call this color and it's not going to show up right in the camera. This is called Queen. It's like, honestly, okay, you can't make fabric duochrome, but this fabric is duochrome. Like, okay, so if you just look at it, it's sort of greenish, right? But like, if you look in the folds, it like almost looks gray. It's like a grayish green, but like, depending on like what angle you look at it, what the shadow is, like, it really looks duochrome. Plus, again, opalescent. So like, that adds that extra like shininess factor. I don't know what I'm gonna stitch on this. Like I bought a full yard of it because it's gorgeous. Like I don't know what I'm gonna put on this, but this color is stunning. It's like such a beautiful neutral. The gray green is gorgeous. And again, it looks duochrome. Like if you look at the darker spots, it looks gray. If you look at the lighter spots, it looks green. Like it's so cool. Again, I think a Chatelaine or a Mira will end up on this. I did think about this for Swan Lake as well. I might end up doing like a full floss pull and floss toss for those. But stunning, gorgeous. Amazing. Beautiful fabric. And now the pieces I've shown you so far have been relatively like not super modeled, but Amy does do like beautiful modeled fabrics as well. So just to show you some of her more modeled picks. So can you tell I heard mermaids on the brain? Because here's my third possible mermaid fabric. So this is a more modeled fabric of Amy's. This is Stormwatch. This is a fat half. Again, was thinking a Mirror Mermaid. Again, color's getting blown out a little bit, but... And again, the modeling's a little bit heavier. If I hold it again. If I hold it back here, it's closer. It is a greener... It's a greener tone. The modeling and the background are much closer in color in person, but this will be stunning for a mermaid. I mean, I don't know which mermaid yet, but gorge. And there's sort of like, there's like, this side is almost, I feel like it's almost like the lighter side. Let me see if I show this side, if it's more, no. I think I just thought that was the lighter side because it was the one facing the light. And then when I turned it around, spoiler alert, the other side became the lighter side. Wild how that happens. All right. And then the other one, this, do you know how many purple, I have so much purple fabric. Purple fabric coming out the wazoo, but I could not resist this fabric. I had to get it. So this is Raven, which was from one of the Fabric of the Months. This again, showing up a lot lighter and more model than it actually is. And it's much more purple in person. I mean, it pulls really purple in person. Also opalescent. Actually, that is probably the closest to the actual color when I hold it like right up to the camera. But it's gorgeous. Again, no idea what I'm going to put on this. Probably a fancy lady, but who the heck knows? Love this. I mean, yeah, I can't resist a good purple. Good purples get me all the time. And I just, oh, so pretty. This, honestly, with it all folded up and sort of like back, like this is probably the closest to what the full piece looks like. But it's beautiful. Again, also opalescent. No idea what I'm going to put on it. And it's just, it had to go in my stash. And then this is a color that came from, this is called Dragon Breath. This is also a linen. And this came from a box that Amy did. Now, I got this box in, I think, opalescent linen. Might have been opalescent Lugana. I don't remember. But I did get this box. So I have a piece of this fabric. But I had to get another piece because it is just so gorgeous. Look at that fabric. And like, look. Again, don't know what I'm going to stitch on this. The modeling is coming out heavier in the video, but like, look at those like beautiful pinks with the purples. Ay, 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 it's so good. Yeah, I don't know what to put on this. I don't know what I'm going to put on it. But it's just so beautiful. It's just so beautiful. Yeah, so if you have not checked out Oak Crown Studios, go to oakcrownstudios.com, check out her beautiful fabric. She does dye to order, so it takes some time to get your fabric once you order it, but it is worth the wait. And if you don't want to wait, you can come to our retreats in July and October, and then you can shop in person. That's what I do. I stock up at the retreat. So this is only some of the fabric that I purchased. The rest of it, I'm like not, like I said, I'm not a big haul girly, but I did want to just sort of highlight some of my faves. I do have several other beautiful pieces of fabric that I also purchased, but we can save that for another time, or you'll see them when they come out of my stash and turn into whips. Yeah, I had an amazing time at the retreat. I always do. I'm really looking forward to October. Please, as I always ask, like, comment, subscribe. As I always promise, I'm going to try and be more consistent with making videos. It's so good to see all of you. Say hi. Let me know in the comments if I should do like a full-on chatelaine, like chatelaine 101 / show off all my chatelaine whips / show off my chatelaine pattern stash video, like a chatelaine special. Yeah, and come say hi. You can find me here. You can find me on Instagram at AllieZisCrafty, the same as my channel name. Yeah, and I will hopefully, crossing my fingers, knocking on wood, trying really hard, I will hopefully see you guys soon. All right, have a good one. Bye.